Hi all, and welcome to a new video, and in this video I'm going to cover the Monday card of the Fairyhouse Easter Festival, which obviously includes the big Irish Grand National, the biggest prize money race in Ireland now, and it's got a very good field this year, very open, trappy race to get ourselves into, but it's also the headline of an 8-race card at Fairyhouse, which has some very good little under races beforehand as well. So we're going to get into all of them, and without further ado, we're going to whack into the 210, which is a novice handicap hurdle. Similar to the race yesterday, I'm doing this on a Sunday morning, so Sunday's racing hasn't come on. But there's a novice handicap hurdle on the first day, which I think I've put up Caltex, because I do like in these races for the horse to come just from his maiden hurdle victory, because they're just showing that they're progressive types. And I think we've got one here in the Jessica Harrington's Whisper in the Breeze, with Robbie Power in the plate. I was there at Naas when he won his maiden hurdle from the front, won it very nicely and very takingly in the end. That doesn't seem to be that bad form as well. Some of the horses in behind have run decent enough races since, like Kresik and Play the Game. So you could find that this is that's not a bad maiden hurdle, and therefore Whisper in the Breeze should go close. The other one I like in here, which is actually Mark Walsh's pick, Barry Garrity opposes, is Manger a Trotter for Enda Bulger, who won a maiden hurdle back in Clonmel in November, so he's been off for quite a while, and maybe that's why Garrity prefers who's on the mend for Joseph O'Brien. I can't really get my head around that. Maybe because Mark Walsh partnered him at Clonmel. But you look at his form line, and he beat Chris's Dream in a maiden hurdle. Now, Chris's Dream subsequently went on to win a Grade 3 by 63 lengths for Henry de Bromhead, and therefore, perhaps, Manger Trotter is a bit of a forgotten horse here, and hopefully will go quite close. So the two of them in the first. We then move on to the Grade 2 novice hurdle over 2 miles, of which it will be a bit of a recovery mission, I think, for Get a Bird after a fairly poor show in the Supreme Novices. Nothing seemed to go right, was far too keen. Didn't particularly like going left-handed, I didn't think. Was hanging to his right. So this return to a right-handed track will suit. And I think I'm going to favour him to get back on track here. And is really his opposition lies in his own stablemates, I think. I can't see Vanilla Charm. I know he won the Fred Winter, but surely he can't win this race. You've got an Eddie Hartian horse in here who's come from France. Hardline is quite exposed at this type of level. So I'd be taking him on with, I've always been a big fan of Sharjah. His last 2 runs have let me down slightly, but at some stage he'll come back good, and perhaps does slightly better ground than at Cheltenham, because like what are we dealing with? We're dealing with soft to heavy, so it's not good ground obviously, but Sharjah will improve the better the ground gets, and perhaps could go close. And I think certainly a big word for Sayar, who's been off for quite a while now. Early in the season, I think they thought of him as a Supreme Novices horse, has had his setbacks, and he's now back on a recovery mission. We then go into a trappy 2 mile 6 handicap hurdle, of which I don't mind the, again, an Enda Bulger horse here in Stand Up and Fight. Quite a good novice hurdler last year, competed well in Grade 2 races. And went chasing this year, but it kind of all went wrong for him. He didn't seem to take to the fences at all. He was pulled up on debut, punches down, and then 4th to 4 at Naas, so it kind of went all wrong. But he's back in a hurdle race now, and potentially is quite feasibly handicapped, even though being up near the top. I think also you'd have to give a bit of a mention, again, another Harrington horse here, Moonshine Bay, who was pulled up last time in a Grade 3, but that was attritional conditions, and back in a handicap could go well. Move on to the Keeling's Irish Strawberry Hurdle, Grade 2 over 2 mile 4. Some good horses here. I think I'm going to side with the old campaigner. Jeski looked himself when winning at Leopardstown over 2 mile 2. I think these middle trips are actually his cup of tea at this stage. 2 miles seems to be too quick. He doesn't stay 3 miles. So I think this is exactly what he wants. Coq en Main is interesting. I wouldn't put you off Augusta Kate if she can get her jumping correct as an each-way play here. I'd say she'll be at a bit of a price. Devonish Chase Grade 2 over 2 mile 4. I suspect a lot of people will try to take him on, but I can't see past Underso here. I'm one of his biggest fans. He was a bit disappointing at Cheltenham, but I'll forgive him that run. Coney Island I just can't take after that performance last time out. Atwa, Phil, Ballycasey, these sort of horses, they surely can't live with under, so the danger must be Dr. Phoenix, who's been a rapidly improving type and ran great field close last time in the Webster Cup. Move on to the Irish National itself, the one you've probably watching this video for. I'm a big fan of Bell's Hill. I think he's the, I know he's second top weight, but he's the class horse in the race, him and Outlander. Outlander, I just can't see. He ran a very poor race in the Gold Cup, very lacklustre. Bell's Hill's come in here after winning the Bobby Joe Chase. David Mullins keeps the ride, so a big day for David Mullins, and hopefully he could steer this 9-1 horse in. I've always been a fan of Maldini. It was agonising him losing in the Kim Muir, so I'd have to give him a bit of a chance at 8-1. And I feel it would be silly to overlook Dunicus here at 14-1 for Gordon Elliott. Gordon Elliott, I think, has always pinned him as this out-and-out star. The 3 miles in the RSA was probably too quick for him. That's how I'm looking at it, and perhaps could be a bit of a blot here at 14-1. I can't really, like, if you want a slightly bigger price each way, play 18-1, Bless the Wings. Brian Hughes is an eye-catching booking. He'll sit him out the back under a vintage Brian Hughes hold upright and hopefully sneak into a place. We then get to the handicap chase, 3 miles, and I think Out Sam here could well turn the tables on Poorman's Hill after their Ulster National. Out Sam was carried out on the home turn, very unfortunate, and he certainly would have come second, if not won that race, and therefore, if he's shown no ill effects for that, I think he can reverse form with Poorman's Hill. And we get to the bumper then. Bumper's a very tricky race. It looks a good one on paper. I think Brace Yourself here for Noel Meade came third in that big bumper race at the Leopardstown Christmas Festival, the Dublin Racing Festival, to Black Bow and Rhinestone. But he was a good third that day, running on. Like, you've got 3 Mullins horses in there, you've got an Elliott horse in there. Like, it's difficult to know. I think of the Mullins horses, I'd be interested the most by Derby. I think he was quite impressive on his debut and could. So Patrick Mullins hasn't been booked in for either him or Squadron Commander. So perhaps you could be onto a winning thing, seeing which one he opts for there. Well, that's the 8-race card, quickly summed up for you. To recap, in the Irish National, I've got a few picks really, but Maldini and Bell's Hill I've always been fans of. Bell's Hill, I think, is the class horse in the race. I wouldn't rule out Dunicus, and at a slightly bigger price each way, Bless the Wings. Hope you have a good Irish National Day, and yeah, best of luck.